those moments, right? When you're driving.
Mm-hmm.
Like you take your foot off the gas, but the car just keeps rolling.
Yeah, or that jolt when you have to brake suddenly.
Exactly. Or that feeling, like you're being pushed to the side on a sharp turn.
Definitely.
Well, that's not just the car being weird. That's physics. It's inertia.
It really is. And that's what we're diving into today, inertia. It's one of the uh, most powerful forces, really, shaping how your car responds.
Yeah, and our mission here really is to unpack why your car does what it does, especially in those like critical moments.
Yeah.
The idea is to help you anticipate things better, stay in control.
And make safer choices. It's kind of a shortcut to understanding how your vehicle handles its stability.
So let's start with a quick definition. Inertia is.
It's basically the resistance an object, in this case your car, offers to any change in its motion. Simple as that. Whether it's sitting still or moving, it wants to keep doing what it's doing.
Okay, and how's that different from momentum? I hear those terms used together sometimes.
Good question. They're related but different. Inertia is the resistance to change. Momentum is more about the tendency of something already moving to keep moving.
Oh,
But the key thing for both, they fundamentally come down to two main things. Mass, or weight, and velocity, which is just speed.
right. So for you listening, driving your car, what does this actually mean? We're going to try and answer some key questions in this deep dive. Like, why does the car keep trying to go forward even when you're hitting the brakes hard?
And how does inertia mess with your steering when you're taking a curve maybe a bit too fast?
Yeah, and its role in skids causing them or maybe even preventing them. And ultimately, how can understanding this stuff actually, reduce your risk of an accident?
We'll also look at how the sheer weight of your car plays into this and what's happening with inertia during those really sudden stops or sharp turns, the scary moments.
And this isn't just theory, right? This is the real world.
Absolutely not. It's about how inertia tangles with momentum, weight, friction, the tires on the road, and how all that directly affects your drive, your safety, every single time.
Okay, let's get into it then.
Sure.
What are the main things that actually determine how much inertia a vehicle has, that resistance to change?
Well, the biggest factor, and probably the most obvious one, is the mass of the vehicle.
Its weight.
Exactly. The heavier the car, the more inertia it has. Simple as that. It takes more force to get it going, more force to slow it down, and definitely more force to change its direction.
Which is why a big SUV feels so different from a small hatchback.
Precisely. A loaded truck versus a little sports car. Worlds apart in how much inertia you're dealing with.
Okay, so mass is number one. But you mentioned it's not just the total weight. It's also about how that weight is distributed.
Yeah, that's crucial. The distribution of mass. Where the weight actually sits in the car matters a lot. Well, imagine if a car has most of its weight packed at the front, or maybe way in the back. Its handling is going to feel very different compared to a car where the weight is spread out more evenly.
Ah, okay.
It affects its balance, how easily it might start to rotate like in a spin, and how it responds when you turn the steering wheel, particularly when you're moving quickly or making sudden moves.
Makes sense. And then there's the speed factor. Velocity.
Oh, yeah. This one's huge. And it's not a simple one-to-one relationship. The faster you go, the more inertia you build up, but it increases much faster than your speed does.
What do you mean?
Well, think about kinetic energy, the energy of motion. It actually increases with the square of your velocity.
The square. So if I double my speed.
You quadruple the energy your brakes need to get rid of to stop. Quadruple.
Wow, okay.
That massively increases your stopping distance and the force involved if you hit something. It's why high speeds make it so much harder to stay in control. Your inertia is just fighting you so much harder.
That really puts speed limits in perspective.
It really should. Then there's the type of vehicle. Think about something tall like an SUV or a van.
Higher center of gravity.
Exactly. That higher center of gravity changes its inertial properties. It makes it more prone to, rolling over in a sharp turn compared to a lower car. The inertia wants to keep the main mass moving straight while the tires are trying to pull the bottom of the car sideways. That creates a tipping force.
Okay, got it. Mass, distribution, speed, vehicle type. Anything else?
We also have forces working against inertia, trying to slow the car down naturally. Things like friction and drag.
Air resistance?
Yeah, air resistance pushing back on the car, the friction of the tires on the road, rolling resistance, and even friction inside the engine and drivetrain. All these things are constantly applying small forces that counteract the vehicle's inertia, its tendency to just keep going.
So, understanding all these factors is one thing. But how do we, as drivers, actually manage inertia?
That's the practical part, the most direct way. Drive at safe speeds. That keeps the inertia manageable.
Lower speed, lower inertia.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yep. And maintaining your vehicle is critical. Good tires, good brakes, suspension in good shape. These are the tools you use to apply the forces needed to control inertia, to slow down, speed up, or turn safely.
So basic maintenance is actually inertia management.
In a way, yes. And practicing defensive driving helps too. Looking ahead, anticipating stops, avoiding sudden swerves that minimizes the situations where you're fighting against huge inertial forces.
Okay, that's a great look at the what influences inertia. Now let's talk about the how we actually feel it and see it affecting the car and us inside it.
Right. Let's look at vehicle inertia in action. When your car's parked, right, it takes a real push from the engine to overcome that staying put inertia and get it rolling.
Yeah.
And once it is rolling, it wants to keep rolling. It resists stopping or turning unless some other force acts on it, like the brakes or the steering, changing the tire's direction.
So braking is basically applying a force to overcome the car's forward inertia.
Yeah. Exactly. The car wants to keep going forward. The brakes create friction to force it to slow down. And when you accelerate, the engine is working against the inertia that wants the car to stay at its current speed or stay at rest if you're starting from zero.
Okay, that's the car itself. But what about us, the passengers? Our own inertia.
This is where it gets personal, you could say. Because we have inertia too, our bodies follow the same rules.
And we feel it all the time. Like when someone brakes hard, you fly forward in your seat.
That's your body trying to continue moving at the speed the car was going, even though the car itself is slowing down rapidly underneath you. Your personal inertia.
And the opposite when accelerating fast, right?
Yeah.
You feel pushed back into the seat.
That's your body resisting the change from either being at rest or moving slower. It's lagging behind the car's sudden forward motion for a split second.
And the sideways lean-in turns.
Same principle. The car turns, but your body's inertia wants to keep going in a straight line. So relative to the turning car, you feel pushed towards the outside of the curve.
So, knowing all this, how do safety features work with inertia, like seatbelts?
Seatbelts are absolutely crucial. They are designed specifically to counteract your passenger inertia during a sudden stop, or worse, a crash.
They provide the restraining force.
Exactly. They apply that necessary external force to your body to slow you down along with the car, preventing you from continuing forward into the dashboard, steering wheel, or windshield.
And what about the car's design itself? You mentioned vehicle stability.
Yes. Engineers spend a lot of time thinking about inertia when designing suspension systems and deciding how to distribute the vehicle's mass. The goal is to minimize inertia's negative effects, especially during turns, to help keep the car stable and the tires gripping the road.
So a well-designed car manages its own inertia better.
To a large extent, yes. And think about ABS, the anti-lock braking system.
Right, prevents the wheels from locking up.
It does, but it's also working with inertia in a smart way. By preventing the wheels from just skidding, it allows them to keep rotating just enough so you can still steer. It helps you manage the car's forward inertia while maintaining directional control, which you lose completely if the wheels lock solid.
So it's not just about stopping faster. It's about controlling the inertia while stopping.
Precisely. So the big takeaway here is that understanding and managing inertia is absolutely fundamental for the engineers designing safer cars and for you driving them. All these technologies, belts, airbags, stability control, ABS, they're all designed with inertia in mind, trying to mitigate its effects on us.
Okay, so hopefully this deep dive has shed some light on why your car does what it does when you brake, speed up, turn corners, and how understanding that push and pull of inertia is really key to staying safe.
It really empowers you, doesn't it? Knowing this helps you anticipate how the car will react, helps you stay in control, especially when things get tricky, in bad weather or an emergency situation.
Definitely. It makes you think differently about speed and weight.
Which brings up an interesting final thought. We've talked a lot about the vehicle's mass and speed, but knowing how much that resistance to change depends on weight. How might thinking more carefully about weight distribution inside your car, where passengers sit, how you load cargo, how might that give you an extra edge in control, especially if something unexpected happens on the road?
Yeah, like balancing the load.
Yeah.
Something to think about next time you pack the car for a trip.
Definitely something to consider.
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.